back to the Mouronte channel. So, or Mouronte Project, better said, no? So, it's been a few weeks since we did our first video, and I thought we already need a catch-up for our first video. So maybe the first thing is we're starting out here at the entrance. When we filmed before, the garden here behind the chapel was completely bare. And look how much the ryegrass has grown. And you can see also here really beautifully the patterns on the wall on the back of the chapel. So this garden here, let's turn the camera around. We've had them cleared, we've dug out the roots, we've planted centeno, which I'm pretty sure is ryegrass, because it's go healing. And this was a great surprise when I cleared these. I found this lovely little stile here. Things you find buried under the eye. And this, the old patterns on the wall that you can still see really well, maybe being covered in brambles all those years helped preserve it a bit. All these kisses, it's really beautiful. And then you see these other patterns down here. So we're going to do a version of this on the outside wall at the entrance, the back of the breeze block building, because it's so ugly at the entrance. And round this side you can still see some of the old patterns on the walls as well. But I don't know if this can be restored. Okay, so let's go inside and see what's been going on. We have been very busy with the chapel actually, so that's going to be the next video, because finally, after being so unwilling to touch it, I took the plunge and we started doing some work inside. We actually also got this thing off the door, which I've just put back there leaning on the wall to protect it, all in the next video. And we did manage to decipher the writing on the wall. Also lovely to see how the rose is budding, even on that bit there that looks like it was completely dead. Yes, so we now know the whole description coming up in the next video. Here's my chicky chickens today. What are you doing, chicky chickens? So straw shed, not much has happened in here. Bit more emptying out's been going on as we go using up the straw. That'll be the first apartment. And this corner has had a bit of a facelift because the big fiberglass wine tank that was in here, managed to get rid of that, and it went to a new life to be upcycled and used as a water tank. So that's good. I didn't need it. And of course the space has managed to get filled up with wood. Anyway, all bits of wood that came off of other things that I just decided it was good to keep for now in case we can use them for something. And this, which was the lareira or kitchen, it's actually in Galician, it's the fire, the stone in the kitchen. So this one, can we see it? Have we got enough light? Yes, we can just see here this beam that moves across. So the other day I thought, I wonder what's underneath. And I cleaned a little bit of the floor and it's all big lovely flagstones underneath. So that was a really nice surprise. We'll get this all cleaned out and then we can see it in its full glory and hopefully get it made into a bathroom. We have also been doing some demolition, which was very exciting and kind of unexpected. I had some people lined up to do it and it was very bad weather, and I think wherever they were working they couldn't work out in the rain, so they suddenly showed up one afternoon. And let's go and see what they knocked down. If you remember when we looked in here before, this was the bull stable and is going to be treatment room, toilet, and this is going to be, I think, a little office reception. And there was bricks at the end of that wall, if you remember. So now we have a big hole Back to the stone. Still needs a bit of refining, but there's some lovely huge big pieces of stone in here, especially this one. This one's quite amazing. Anyway, let's go and check out the demolition in the main house. So, dun 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 dun, how exciting. Look what was left here. So it's looking a bit messy because underneath I asked them not to take off any stone, just the bricks, and that was not so easy to control. And there's still cement on the wall needing chipped off. But it's so amazing to have this nice big space here. There was nothing in it, a little bit of old grain, and that was it. And now the stairs feel completely different. The balcony, I got rid of my little water channel thing because it wasn't really doing that much good. The cats kept running over it and moving it. So I also had to move the box of documents. I thought it would stay dry there, but it was getting damp. So that got moved inside. Oh, we've had a lot of rain coming in here these days. It's been quite scary. But the box of documents is there, quite safe. Some of the plastic flowers from the chapel. What to do with them? Well, I left some here because this was the last resting place of the lady of the house previously. And then we've got rid here of all the unwanted furniture. So that big unit there's gone. The other one over there's gone. It's actually gone to the tack room and been repurposed as a sort of tool storage place. The bathroom's been all cleared out and windows moved out, and the toilet, which is basically a hole and a big chute that goes straight down to outside, just down here somewhere in those stones, I guess. Not so nice. So all these wooden walls will hopefully come down at some point and reveal the lovely stone behind and the pillars. There's pillars all the way along here. This is a lovely thing as well, actually. Look at the spy hole. If you look through the spy hole, it actually, funny we can't see it through the camera. Oh, I'm doing it wrong. Oh, I can't position the camera. Here we go. Yeah, anyway, it does look at the entrance. You could just get a butt of a rifle through there and shoot somebody coming in the door if you had to in the old days. I don't know if this one's intentional to peek out or if it's just a hole in the wood. So I also got rid of a lot of lots of other excess furniture. Had a whole skip come through. So all the rotten beds have gone from here. This big one, unfortunately, not yet gone. That one's a whole task all on its own, I think, that one. And then through here, we kept one bed and another one right through the end there, the iron one. But this is all empty now, look. The table that was here's gone to the chapel. Somebody keeps coming around telling me what works of art these things on the wall. And I'm just like, I just can't see it. I just see the dampness. Like, no, I take photos and then make it into, and then hang them on the walls once it's all cleaned. I'm like, sorry, I can't see that. I just see the decay, the leaking roof. Anyway, look through here. There's been a lot of water coming in, as you can see. But we have now got rid of all the rest of the furniture. It was all completely rotten and falling apart. That bed's metal, so that might go out in the garden. And there's one here that's we've left, although it is pretty eaten, woodwormy. So let's go and see what happened downstairs. Down here, there's been a hell of a lot going on, actually. The modern kitchen, the 1970s kitchen, has had the whole false ceiling taken down. and all the wooden structure, so we can see exactly what's going on up there, which is a lot of water, a lot of leaks, a lot of rain. But we also have got rid of the cupboard that was here, the big furniture that was here in the corner, cleaned the wall, which was amazing at cleaned because it was completely yellow. I thought that's never going to come off. It did come off. So that was good. These shelves were upstairs and just stuff. It's amazing how you put a space and you immediately start to gather stuff. And it's a beautiful view out this window to the courtyard and the chapel. It's actually got a really lovely feel to it, this kitchen. The tap in the sink works. It's all ridiculously low, but lovely marble surfaces. And this lovely old cooker behind me here, we got it working. I had a guy come in to look at the roofs for waterproofing, tiling, and he said, does that work? And I was like, I don't know, I haven't tried it. Let's try it now, let's get it going now. Such a funny guy. Same guy who got the flour mill working, which also, well, this I was a bit more confident that it would work because there's nothing really to break, is there? Apart from the chimney could be blocked up. But yeah, he got it all working. So after, obviously when there's raining, there's not much point, but after the rain, it's good to put it on and it just dries out the beams where there's water coming in until we can get the roof sealed up, which hopefully won't be too far in the distance. And yeah, it's a bit what to do with this kitchen. The tiles, for me, a few people have said, oh, they're nice old tiles, but they don't look that old and nice to me. I don't know. I'm not very keen on these tiles, but I think for now, financially, they can just stay. They're also not offensive. I suppose they are typical of the era when they were put in. And because there's lots of space going up, where that bit of wood there is, we're going to make up there a platform. So we can have a sleeping space, obviously after the roof gets fixed. And we can make a platform big enough to put a bed or at least a mattress and a little cupboard or something in case we can get some, not in case, when we get some volunteers, they've got somewhere to stay, because it actually is lovely, cozy space in here. Even with the leaking roof, when you get that fire going, it's absolutely lovely. So let's go and see what's happening through in the old kitchen, or l'eraira. So I've actually got some lights through here today and a fire going. So there's been a lot happened through here since our last video, which was only a few weeks ago, but it seems like that was such a long time ago somehow, because so much has been going on. So I have some friends who are musicians and they wanted to play in the l'eraira. So we did. We got the fire going, we cooked some food, not today. And there was lots of singing and dancing. That was on the 1st actually, because it was a holiday on the 1st. Today the fire's going because we've just been heating up some water. And it's so funny, there was one of these old pots hanging here, but it was very rusty and a little bit holy. And I had this brand new one, which very bizarrely, I felt compelled to buy where I was living before. I went in the supermarket and I said, what's that for? And she said, oh, it's for cooking over the fire. And I mean, it wasn't expensive, but I thought, I bought it and I got home and I thought, what did I buy that for? Well, there you go. Suddenly absolutely needed it. Very strange. So we can see a bit more around here today because we've got lights on, and actually it does not leak in here. You can see a bit of daylight through and the smoke gets out and the water does not get in. It doesn't leak. And of course the beams are all good because they're all black, covered in all the soot. Still a lot of cobwebs needing cleaned off here. But that's all for burning, for the fire. Just going through them as we burn them. Just didn't want to throw them all away. And what do you do with all these old books? So this cupboard needs repairing. So still waiting for the guy to come back, and he's going to fix the hinge on that cupboard and on this amazing door here. So this door, when I got him to look at the hinges to fix, he thought was from the original house, and we can see it properly today because we've got some lights going on in here today. Look how beautiful. And if you can hear some little snuffling noises, where I showed you the last time where the pigs were, believe it or not, I'm still a bit not believing it, we've got pigs. So they've got place to eat here, and then through there they've got their bed, cleaned down all the cobwebs, and I've got somebody to come and knock these walls down, into the dividing walls, just so they've got more space, and then meat for the whole year. It's not really my thing, but anyway, there you go. If you can help out a neighbour, then why not? And if I get free meat and choritos and salchichons, then why not? So under here, the floor has also come up really beautiful on this part. Look, like through that, the other bit, it's all big flagstones. And I'm hoping the whole floor will be like that. Here was a brick wall in our last film, dividing the passage, which has got a specific name I can't remember. But it looks like the original wall was probably wood and sat in this wooden beam. So we may repurpose the wooden wall from upstairs, which is really nice wood, and just divide a bit of this off just to make a little corner, maybe just up to halfway, and then leave this end open. This is where the larder was, the cupboard, which has left a bit of a funny space in the floor. That's just a bit of a bed I didn't throw away. And then the old bench, they're like the Orkney chairs with these solid backs. So you're warm when you're sat by the fire, I guess. And that is a little machine for roasting chestnuts. Well, not machine, because you turn it by hand, but so many chestnuts, and it's that time of year. Be nice just to sit for a minute and take a little pause. And one long, gentle breath. I did think to start all the videos of Mouronte with a little pause and a breath, but I forgot. Anyway, much nicer to pause here by the fire. Back here in the entrance, remember we talked about this little window here, which was painted white. We've had a different version on that little window. Let's just go up. So we thought it was something to do with people came to pay taxes or something like that. Why is it painted white, that bit? And because it also had a metal grid over it. But if we go inside is a little room, and actually when you look from inside, mind the cobwebs, little window looks exactly down on the doorway in the entrance. Now that the grain store's gone, you can see that much better. And a lady who was here, whose mother was a friend of the lady who lived here, she said this was her little sewing room, and she would sit in there and have all her sewing, and then she could see who was coming and going by spying out the little window. So there we go. These are so lovely, these old doors. This colour, sort of turquoisey colour, and it's such a luxury that all these old handles and things still exist. Anyway, that was the story for now of that little window. And of course that one over there goes into the top bit of the kitchen, which has now got daylight in as we've taken the false ceiling down. I am on it looking for a carpenter to do some repair jobs on these doors. Everybody who's come to Mouronte, locals, talks about the secret. And I was always joking with people saying, well, it's not much of a secret when everybody knows about it. Apparently, for centuries, it was a secret. It was built into the original house. And in the 1800s, in the Carlista wars, it was used often as a hiding place when the soldiers came. And I guess they hid their valuables and weapons in there as well. I thought, and a lot of people said, oh, this is just a thing about like a story for children. It can't be true. It's not true. It doesn't really exist. And I was shown, let's go and look at the stone. I was shown in the wall this stone, and they told me it moved. And that behind it was the secret. And I thought, really? And actually, a couple of constructors who were here and an architect said, this is a story for kids. This does not really exist. So behind this door, let's open the door. And then this lady came and she said about it, and I said, but do you think it really exists? And she said, oh yes, she said, my husband went in there 25 years ago. So it definitely opens. So you see behind this door, this bottom stone, believe it or not, it slides out from this side. And what's happened, the floor, I think with the damp, there's a lot of water coming in just here. So this bit of floor seems to have lifted a bit, so it can't open. And we don't want to force it open, because I want to be able to open and close it so people can have that experience. And we did open a little bit, we moved it, so you see now there's a gap here down the side of that stone. So it's the whole length of this wall. In fact, let's go and just look outside. It has its own little window on the outside. So I'm thinking probably, I mean, you have to go in crawling, but at least 4 or 5 people must fit in there, I would think. Through the gate into the garden. And the funny thing is, the day that lady came, who told me that it was a real thing, it was the same day in the morning that this corner had been cleared. So before that happened, you couldn't see this wall. The brambles were right up to the upstairs windows. So she said, oh, have you not seen the spy hole on the outside? I said, no, we've just cleaned those walls this morning. So up there, right in the joint of the wall, is the little spy hole. So when you were in the secret, I suppose you could spy out. You could tell if it was day or night. It must have been jet black in there. You see it? And I guess they could see if somebody was around or maybe hear from the outside. Oh, so fascinating, the story about the secret. And at some point, yes, we will definitely get in there and see. The lady who said her husband went in said it was full of wasps and he got attacked by wasps and had to come running straight out. So I guess they all went in that little hole, and perfect place for wasps. I don't think there's any in there anymore. Well, it's the wrong time of year for them now anyway. But we'll need to get that stone fixed on the floor so it's possible to open it and get in there. Maybe that's where the treasure is. Highly unlikely, I think. Some other neighbour said, oh, well, if that guy's been in there, there's definitely nothing in there. So funny, people. Everybody has their stories and opinions and ideas about Mouronte. Here, they kept salt, we think. There was probably, see these big stones down here, so there would have been a roof on here, and you can still see where the pillars would have been behind that wall that we looked at upstairs inside the bathroom. So this wall, unfortunately, has been really damaged by the salt. So the rich houses back in the day would have had the salt, and all the neighbours would have come round with their little pot to collect salt. But it's really destroyed the base of this wall. So you can see there's a little unlevel bit, and it's the only bit of the walls anywhere in the house that's not 100% strong. So you can actually see from when you're in the attic that this whole corner of the house has dropped a little bit. As one thing, not cracked, just moved as one thing. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I guess that's why they put the cement on it, to try and cover the stones, but it's amazing how the salt just ate away at the stones. Let's go to the attic. Back in through the main entrance of the house, And let's just point some light over here. I have got my torch with me as well. So this staircase here, look at these wooden doors. These are the original doors and they're just so solid, beautiful wood. Sorry, I'm getting a shadow on there. And these stairs also go to the upstairs of the house where we just were. And then up here is the stairs to the attic, which I don't know if you can see how well you can see, but the wood is absolutely solid and strong. Same can't be said about the floor. I did, since the last video, cleared out this corner and I put some bits of wood which were actually the top off the grain store. Love to be able to reuse things to fill in this hole in the floor. Got all the rubbish out of here. Oh well, look, apart from one bottle. And there, oh look, what's down there? Piggies. So we have to do a bit of a funny manoeuvre around the corner here to get up to the attic. Let's go. Let's see, because the stairs I think are pretty solid. She says, there you go, we'll have a live video of them collapsing if they do. Bit of rubbish here, not too much, but it's amazing when you dig down and you think there isn't much rubbish. So, Mouronte's attic. Don't think the gold bricks up here for fixing the roofs. What are these basket things for the stairs? And of course, like everywhere in Mouronte, there's bound to be loads and loads of shoes. So let's go and take a little exploration in the attic. You can see where the water's been coming in here. So it's good it's been really wet, because then I know what needs to be done. Look. So this of course is all very dodgy. Ooh, look at that rat there. Fossilized rat. Very dodgy floor, but along the middle of the house is this wall, which here it goes all the way up to the top, because the other side of that is the Laraira, which of course has the ceiling all the way up. Look, more shoes. I'm going to try and stop this thing dangling down causing a shadow, sorry. More shoes, more shoes. That's a Zocco, the traditional shoes with the wooden soles, which they still make and people still wear to fiestas. Let me just get on this centre wall. We're going to try and film and talk at the same time and go straight through the floor. That wouldn't be so good. So we are now above the part of the house. That's the porch over there. And you can see, well, I don't know if you can see on the video, how this whole bit here has kind of separated from the wall there. And I think that's where it sunk, that corner where the salt is. So I was up here with the guy the other day who's going to fix the roofs. And these big beams are just so beautiful. Of course, most constructors take one look and they just want to knock everything down and put all nice new straight wood up. But these beams are just so amazing. There's a bit of damage. And of course, they're designed for the air to get out and smoke to get out, but not for the water to get in. There's a bit more damage there as well. Let's just take a look around. So there's the other bit of the wall. That's the corner of that bedroom where it's leaking in a lot. And then over here as well, that is the part that, oh no, that's the main bedroom with the sink in it. Can I stand on this? Yes. Oh, look, there's a workman's helmet. And then the other bit, of course, doesn't have attic. The other side there, because the roof's much lower. So these huge beams, look, that one's wet there, but the other one not. And even though it's a bit wet, and lots of people have said, even if they get if they're a bit rotten or eaten on the outside, they're probably fine in the middle, because they're chestnut, and it's such a good hard wood. See, at some point, somebody's put a load of buckets up here to catch the drips, which It's a bit pointless unless you come and empty them every day. I guess that jug wasn't doing very much. There's one over there, a couple here, but that one's full of water actually. Anyway, let's see if we can get back down. So just before we go down, I just saw something sticking out of the rubbish here. It looks like a bit. I think it is, yes. It's a horse's bit. I don't know why that's up here. And what else is under this pile? I'm standing on it. It's very soft. So goodness knows what else, apart from all the shoes. Right, let's go and see across in the workers' house what we've been discovering over there. Because I had a very lovely surprise / discovery. So, what do you think it is? On a very rainy day we couldn't work out in the garden. We cleared out in here and lo and behold, look at the floor. It's all big stones, which is absolutely fantastic. This was also La Raira. That's where it would have come out of the wall. So it had the big branch of wood, beam of wood. And the fire pit would have been here somewhere. So this all got cleared out. Little bit of cleaning of the walls, but not too seriously. And cleaned out the space under the stairs. Got the barrel out. Oops. Turned out it wasn't holding the stairs up. Also got the barrel from upstairs, so there's now in here, there's 2 barrels and there's another 2 down in the dungeon of the house, so should we put them all somewhere together? Let's just shut this door. So yeah, stairs stayed up on its own without all that stuff. We got several barrel loads of hay piled up, which is made a good bed for the pigs, and haven't moved this big grain store because it's just too heavy and don't know what to do with it. It's maybe completely rotten. And just so lovely, this stone when it's all cleaned up. But this is about as much probably as we'll get done in here for now, until the roof is fixed, like everywhere. Can clean up inside and get rid of all the rubbish, but there's not much point in doing very much until we clear the roof. Another lovely old door. See, we could even give that a clean. Beautiful wood under all those cobwebs. And here is all the stuff I've been collecting for the electrician, who has still not come. Let's go and see what happened with my trench. That's us in the workers' house, or what was the workers' house and is going to be the family house. And then through here, back to where the horses are. Oh, I'm saying off. Look what's happened. The electrician never did show up, but I put the tube in and filled in the trench because it was raining so much and everything was getting so muddy. Look, even the Aira, when it rains a lot, the water does drip away when it stops raining, soak away rather. And we did put another stone over here that we found that was just the right size. Didn't try and set it up like the edging stones, but just because of the mud. I'm not sure if it even did have a stone. That one got broken by the tractor. And then I got some hardcore down here, just between the Aira and the stables, just to stop the mud a little bit. So the horses are in here at night, in case of the wolves. And here, talking about wolves, believe it or not, somebody told me the other day, yesterday in fact, that the night before a cow was killed by wolves, by a bang of wolves, gang of wolves, whatever, just here around the corner. Wolves or no wolves, I do bring my horses in at night because the rest of the property's not really fenced. Look at my gateway. This was such a tragic. So this was bringing in the hardcore. He got in, and then the tractor and trailer coming out, he caught the edge of the gate and it moved that big stone, and of course the dry stone wall just came a tumbling down. And I said jokingly, see if he does the other side with the next load. And and the second load on his way in, he did this side. Can you believe? Unbelievable. Professional driver. Anyway, of course, everybody was like, oh, it doesn't matter, the insurance will pay. Nobody was giving a damn about it, and I'm like, come on, this has been here for 250 years. This is a tragedy. Anyway, I did find the guys, the only ones who still work with dry stone, because the one who was in charge of this operation wanted to put in a quote to have it fixed. In fact, he did, but he wants to do it with cement in the middle, and I'm like, no, it has to be done how it was supposed to be done. So next to it, there's also a very ugly bit of wall. That's the cow shed, and there's been stuff going on in there as well. Let's take a look. So the cow irons have gone, and we've got a big open space here. Well, it's not as open as it was. Now we filled it, not filled it up, but put in all where we've been pruning the trees and just clearing in general. We stacked all the stuff in here for the lareira in the old kitchen, for the fire in the old kitchen. So this stuff's all great for that. And he reckons he's coming back to take these concrete grids, which I said, okay, there's a trench under there because the cows, well, the cow irons were there, weren't they? I took the rubber mats out to use for the mud. And then outside under here where that grid is, there is a big tank. So all the cow poo would drained and pee and everything, and I guess they hosed it down and everything went straight out there. So this is going to have to be filled in. So I said he can take them as long as he leaves it filled in, so I can still work in here. At some point it'd be good to get this cleaned. Again, till the roofs are done, there's not much point in doing anything, but it's also good in the meantime to clean and check out the state of the beams, that we start to get an idea of how much needs done. So lots of wood for the lareira, and I love this doorway. I don't know why, it's just so charming. So many lovely features of Mouronte. That bit of wood there's just holding the door open because I wanted to leave it open on both sides and let the air blow through, just to dry all this wood out because it has rained a huge amount. Well, I think that's it for what's been happening in the meantime. A little update for today. Well, not so little. Anyway, thank you for joining me. You know, it's such a huge responsibility, this place. And how the hell I ended up here, me saying I'm going to buy a place, I don't want to do any building. And look what I ended up taking on. I don't want to live alone at my age and stage in life. And here I am. I do always say we, or mostly say we, but we is me, the horses, the animals, friends, family, helpers, loved ones. So I don't really feel like I'm alone. But sometimes, you know, there's so many decisions to take. And of course, everybody's telling you different things, especially when it comes to the chapel. That has been really difficult for me. And when we started taking the stuff off the walls, I was really like, oh my God, this is such a big responsibility. But I have done a lot of investigating and taken advice from those I trust and who have proven that they know what they're doing. So I'll look forward to see you next time in the chapel video. And for the meantime, thank you so much for joining us. Your support and help by subscribing, liking, commenting, following us, whatever. Go to the GoFundMe if you want to make any more contribution. All very, very well appreciated, so that we can get this place up and running and share the magic of Mouronte with everyone, especially those who need healing, a little refuge from the craziness of the modern world. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next time.